Zay, Micah Black. Some people think that when we rap, we ain't praising, we ain't worshiping. Well, you got it wrong, man. I'm looking to heaven for my help, for real. Oh, come on. You said that there be no more hunger. You said that there be no more pain. Righteousness reigns forever. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be like. Yeah. You said that there be no more crying, wiping those tears away. No more death and no more lying. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be like. Everywhere we look, we see wickedness on the planet. The upper class getting richer, the poor is just abandoned. It will remain that way as long as the selfish is standing. Nations fighting wars and wilding out, no lit cannon. Loving your neighbor is something God is still demanding. Everybody's out for self, it's like you have no real companion. Even so-called Christians can be servants of mammon. Our cabinets are full while the homeless get deserted and famine. Nah, this is not how it's supposed to be. Haves and the have-nots, the greedy are selfish openly. It's an abomination, just what the prophet spoke to me. That's why the wife of the Lamb in Revelation we hope to see, which is a description of heaven on earth. You want to enter it, you gotta have a second birth. That's what Jesus told Nicodemus when I read the verse. That's why we evangelize and try our best to spread the church. Lord, remember, He said that there be no more hunger. He said that there be no more pain. Righteousness reigns forever. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be. Those tears away. No more death and no more lying. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be like. Yeah. Revelation 21, John is on the mountainside. He saw the heavenly Jerusalem coming from the sky. A magnificent and glorious wonder to the eye. Streets paved with transparent gold. I want to get inside. 12 pearl gates around the city, 3 on every side. Inscribed on each one is a name from the 12 tribes. Forever in the presence of God would dwell the wise. No whoremongers, idolaters, or those who telling lies. Some of us won't make it and He gave us all chances. The kings of the nations combine, we holding palm branches. No more questions, cause Christ is giving all answers. No more disease, get rid of viruses and all cancers. Man, in this life, I have been a fool. So dirty, I left a ring around that baptism pool. But He cleansed you through the blood. Now I am a different dude. When I knock, I pray He opens. I don't want to get refused. He said that there be no more hunger. He said that there be no more pain. Righteousness reigns forever. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be. There be no more crying, wiping those tears away. No more death and no more lying. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be like. This is New Jerusalem.
Hey, vocab ain't helping awakening. Let me show my vocab ain't helping awakening. I can tell y'all that right now. He ain't helping awakening one bit. Not with this stuff he run around here doing. This ain't helping one bit.
Hey, hold on, Brent. Let me show my screen because Moor is here. I want Moor's view on something. The genealogy of Sephardic Jews, Spanish Sephardic Jews. So what about the Sephardic Jews? Are they really descendants of ancient children of Israel? According to the Bible, no. Let's get some big facts below. In the 9th century, 3% of Jews worldwide were Ashkenazi Jews, and the other 97% were Sephardic Jews. Again, by 1931, Ashkenazi Jews made up 95% of worldwide Jewry, and Sephardic Jews made up less than 5%. Ethiopian Jews only comprise. So hold on. So So Jews around the world is just Ashkenaz Sephardic. There's no other. Okay. Only 1%. So what happened to Sephardic Jews? Where did they come from? In the Wikipedia, the word Sepharad is a biblical place of unknown, uncertain location. In the 2nd century AD, Sepharad was associated with the Iberian Peninsula, Spain, Portugal. The word Sepharad only appears once in the Bible, in Obadiah. So where did this word Sepharad come from? Was it mysteriously inserted into our King James Bible to give these Jews an origin? Yo! The word Sephardic Jew found nowhere in the Bible. Let's look at the only place in the Bible where Sepharad is found. King James, Obadiah, chapter 1, 19 through 20. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, Edom, Idumea, South Israel. And they the plain Philistines, Palestine. They shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, northern Israel. And Benjamin shall possess Gilead, territory of Gad, Manasseh, modern-day Jordan. And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even to Zephirah, northern Israel, Lebanon. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sephard, shall possess the cities of the south. So where is Sephard? Who came up with this name? And why is it not found on the map anywhere in Israel or the Middle East? Why is Sephard not in the Greek Septuagint version of Obadiah 120? Is someone trying to fool us to justify the origin of Sephardic people? Yeah, I'm not going to read this. So some verses. So where does Sephard go? Doesn't sound nothing like Ephraim. Ephrata. Have we been fooled? Now let's look at Ephrata found in the Bible. Okay, so he's going to use all the verses. Septuagint. The non-Israelite Sephardim people are Assyrians. I'm not going to read this, brother. Yeah, I'm screen sharing. This is a book. He's telling you where your people come from. Orthodox Moor. He's breaking down one part of your people, the Sephardic side, where y'all come from. I don't know. Actually, let me read the verses. Man, I gotta be fair. Let me read the verses. Greek Septuagint, Obadiah 120. And this shall be the domain of the captivity of the children of Israel in the land of the Canaanites, as far as Sepharda, and the captive of Jerusalem shall inherit as far as Ephatha. They shall inherit the cities of the south. Where Sephard goes, Sephard doesn't sound like nothing Ephrata. Have we been fooled all this time? Now let's look at where Ephrata is found in the Greek Septuagint and the King James Bible. Micah 5:2. But thou, Bethlehem Ephrath, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall come forth unto me to be rulers in Israel. Greek Septuagint, Micah 5:2. And thou, house of Ephrata, art few in number, but reckoned among the thousands of Judah. Yet out of these shall come forth to me to be a ruler of Israel. Obviously, someone has some explaining to do as why the word Ephrata was replaced with Sepharad. Especially, Ephrata actually is a physical place in Israel near Bethlehem. Sephard is not. If this is the case, then who are the Sephardic Jews? And where did they really come from? Perhaps they're foreigners who settled in Israel after Israel were led away in captive into all the nations and are not Israel. So what does the Bible say about these people? Maybe they have some connection to the non-Israelite Sephardim, people of Babylon, Iraq, who settled in Israel during the 8th century. After the northern kingdom of Israel was conquered. Okay, so we get some history. Moor, is that true? I don't know.
I don't see no footnotes either.
I'm saying the only thing he's quoting is Bible, and it seems he's leaning heavily on Bible to kind of like lean into stuff. I don't know.
Sound like Bruce.
But chill out. I don't know more can jump on, but this sounds pseudo. And it's like, here goes Bible. Again, it's a known fact that there's no real boundaries between Idumea and Judea. So it's, oh my God. So it's like,
I just Googled Ron Dalton. He has a network, $1 million.
yo,
I'm telling you,
I'm woke.
He pro'd up.
I'm woke. I'm coming into the $1 billion. Oh boy,
that's what's reported. It might be more.
Yeah. So, yo, what in the pseudo? So this is your history, Moor. This your people's.
I know what you talking about.
Yo, this is the history. I really feel like he's gonna say they Edomites. I'm waiting for it. I'm not trying to read this whole thing. I'm waiting for the summing up. The conclusion. So he's basically saying that they're Babylonians. Unlike the Ashkenaz Jews who never set foot in the land of Israel, the Sephardim who assimilated themselves to be Jews while possessing the land stolen by the Assyrians did in fact step foot in the Holy Land. And the future offspring, which we known as Samaritans during the time of Messiah, after Jesus and the fall of Solomon's temple in 70 AD, this is further proof that the Sephardim people, Sephardic, who settled in the land in northern Israel called Samaria, were Gentiles and not descendants of. Okay. So okay. This is okay. Oh no.
Here we
We're
go.
got a source.
Here we go.
Okay, so we might be wrong.
Oh, that's the source my man's was using from the video I shared.
Yeah. So the dark Jews, especially Portugal, some Spain, that made throughout all the Jews were black or dark. Okay, so not nation knows no color line. Okay, he's cloned it twice. Unless these are two different nation knows no color. Oh no. Waltz. I don't see a door. Oh.
That's one source.
Okay. So Lee, I think what we got to find all his sources
and put in a list and then go through all of them and go by the pages.
So vocab wasn't right, y'all. He's wrong. But it's like he only sources quotes. Correct. He never sources any.
Yeah, he's not pulling specific. He's just using it to fit his specific narrative.
Yeah.
What is the name? If you because I'm looking at one other chapter. Is
what chapter you want to go to?
3. Who are we? Where do we come from? Does skin color really matter?
That chapter resonated with me for some reason. I didn't know why. Let me see what Moore said. Let me see what Moore said. Yeah, this is oh man.
It's kind of sad.
Maybe
I don't see no sources on this chapter.
Maybe because I did see on Amazon he has different volumes. Maybe in the later editions he adds the sources.
Got you. But
we have to be fair.
Wouldn't we have the newest though? Because this is digital, so we could technically have the newest version. Technically.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know, man. It's not good because each page should have at least one. If he's quoting things, like every time he says fact, it should say a source.
Yeah.
To it.
And then the stuff he says, like when we know and all that kind of stuff, and I feel like, in all honesty, every chapter should be like 2 or 3 chapters with the stuff that he's bringing forward. And the stuff he's talking about is not like just simple. Like the fact that the Sephardic chapter has no map. What is how? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think he's trying to save money by not having images.
Correct. Or doing the research all the way through. He's just piecemealing specifically based on his current library, maybe, and then just referencing those. Because right now, like I said, I'm going through this. He doesn't have a footnotes, or he's quoting Barack Obama.
Stop. He quote Barack Obama. Stop it.
I'm telling you, if you go right, are you on chapter 3? Let's get to. Let me see where you at. You got to go down a few pages. Just keep going. You should stop in a second. Keep going. Keep going. You see, every time he says fact, no quote. Keep going. It's almost there. Barack Obama, right there. That's a quote right there from Barack Obama. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, grace and peace, Moor. What's going on?
Hey, peace and blessings. Go back to where you were just reading. You skipped over. It was talking about something about the Yoruba, like you were just talking about the Sephardic Jews and whatnot, and then you were going past something that says something about the Yoruba or whatnot. Because I'm curious as to what he's saying there. Because from listening to what you're talking about, I'm surprised to hear something. I've got the second book, not the first one, not because he cites he cites a Torah amongst some Jews in West Africa and whatnot, but he cites its origin having come from like being a mixture of when he's talking to Rabbi Harry Rosenberg, he's talking about a Torah that's a mixture of Moroccan Arabic, Aramaic, and Patois and whatnot. And when discussing this with Rabbi Harry Rosenberg, he's like, that seems like it has that Sephardic background too, like going back to Spain, like that they have a very strong Torah tradition and whatnot. But hearing what you're talking about, like, no, they're not. It can't be a Torah from the Israelites. It's got to be a Torah from the Assyrians.
Some Gentile. It seems like some converts. I don't know.
Yo. Okay. What was it saying about the Yoruba?
It's on the next. It's the next column. That somehow I would still hold fast to the Hebrew traditions, such as Yoruba Jews of Nigeria and Igbo Jews.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch reading this real quick. Some, however, would still hold fast to their Hebrew traditions, such as the Yoruba Jews of Nigeria. And so this is what I'm trying to say. Like, so he talks about the Yoruba Jews of Nigeria, etc., whatnot, but then tries to link them up with the concept of like their literary traditions coming from this place that he's saying shouldn't exist. As I don't understand, fam. Like, so what's the claim? Like the claim is like the black Jew is or the Sephardic Jew is supposed to, like, so one side says the Sephardic Jews are always black, you know what I'm saying? They're the true Jew, etc., whatnot. Your boy's taking shots at him. But yet both of them are trying to say that like they just like the West African Jews have some connection to these same Jews that they're taking shots at, and the literary tradition has connection to these same Jews they're taking shots at. So like you're cutting your nose to spite your face, and I'm trying to understand, like, this is what I'm saying, fam. Like when you're looking for confirmation bias, when you and your audience are looking for confirmation bias, you don't need sources. You just got to talk.
Yeah, because I think he sounded like one of them prophecy only Israelites. And the fact that Sephardic is not in the Bible, he can't.
And he's using the buzzwords like Khazar Jews. He's speaking specifically to a certain audience that knows that language and believes this specific framework for who's in the land today. So using Khazar Jews specifically, he knows who he's talking to.
Yeah, and to that point, doing this, like, so before they were called Sephardic Jews, they were Maghrebi Jews, i.e. from the Maghreb. Like, so you get to Spain one of two ways. You get there from the North African route, or you get there through the Southern Mediterranean route. There's only one of two ways you're getting there, right? And so before they get to Spain, they're Maghrebi Jews. They are from the Maghreb. That's Northwest Africa. You can literally find the same word in the Bible. Like Jews being dispersed to the west, the Ma'arab. It's the Hebrew way of saying the same word, right? Going out to the west and whatnot, right? Beyond that, you have the concept of Tarshish or whatnot in the Bible. So it's disputed as to where that's at. That could be Carthage, that could be Spain, etc., whatnot, right? There's a lot to delve in with that, right? But the concept of like, oh, Sepharad's not in the Bible, so you can't call it, like, fam, Like, okay, now, okay, show me Yoruba Jews in the Bible. In the Bible, show me Nigerian Jews in the Bible. It's not going to happen. So because I can't show you Nigerian Jews that in the Bible, do they not exist? No. Like, come on, fam. It's special pleading. It's special pleading all day. This is the thing. This is the constant thing that we see with this particular, like, and I'm gonna call it the A-Fakening concept, right? And no people in the crowd. I'm not saying there's not an awakening, right? But it's not what this is. The awakening is not the concept of the world's supposed to recognize that the real Jews or the Negro of America and the Jesus is, but no, that's not the awakening, fam. That's the A-Fakening, fam. But when you're dealing with the faking and whatnot, again, you're talking about people who want to hear two things. They want confirmation bias and they want good news about their bad habits, right? And so, either or, I'm definitely not trying to give you facts either way, fam. I have to do what man's talking about. I have to package stuff to you in certain ways to where you digest it and it's cool for you, right? But it's not factual, fam. Like, you can't check this out. You know what Ron Dalton's not doing? Ron Dalton's not having a scholastic debate with anybody, like on a collegiate level, on a professorial level, none of that type of stuff. Yeah, he's on Clubhouse talking about, oh, I know about medicine and biology, so you should listen to me. Like, literally, I watched him run off a geneticist that worked for 23andMe, who was trying to talk about how we got information wrong on DNA, and ran him off. Didn't want to talk to him. Like, so if Berean tries to set up a conversation, I promise you, Ron Dalton's not going to want to participate in any kind of a conversation where his information comes under fire. Oh, no. It's got to be a gaslight situation. Because when you press it, like, again, like, come on, fam. This is laughable at best. And I'll just say it like that.
I'll say it now, and I'm sure others may think this way. If y'all know the name, I believe Ron Dalton is similar to brothers like Dane Calloway. Very similar in his attack in terms of specific propaganda he's pushing, ways making content, and how he's pushing it out. And like you mentioned, Moor doesn't do debates, doesn't like to debate any of his research. He just says accept it and do your own research. Very similar to what Ron Dalton says. It's just interesting because their premises are similar. One is a super aboriginal, everybody not African, all the African Americans ain't African, they all aboriginal to America. And then Ron Dalton is on the Hebrew Israelite side. They're very similar in nature.
I would have to agree.
Yeah, because more like what you're saying. Because I've always asked a question about when you get to West Africa, how did that migration happen? And for him to cut out the Sephardic Jews, that cuts out a lot of history and migration. It's like he's saying that Israelites will never go north into anywhere along the Mediterranean, into Europe. And it doesn't make sense in terms of what we know of history.
Facts. Not history, genetics, archaeology,
Bible,
literature, like, fam, yeah, it flies in the face of all kind of. But so at the same point in time, like Spain is an interesting look on both sides of this thing. Like, so, like, when you're talking like the Benai Israels, the We Woke Nows, all them type of people, like, so they got this concept that like that the American Negro got to West Africa via Spain. Like, they take the opposite take that Ron Dalton takes here. So again, they talk about the Assyrian concept, right? They talk about, like, after the Babylonian captivity, whatnot, people got sent to Spain, and that's where the Black Jews got to Spain. They stayed Black the whole time, and then they got sent to West Africa when during the expulsion of the Jews, went to Sao Tome, Principe, and then came to America and whatnot, right? Either or, the concepts of actual migrations in history and whatnot, and that's here's the issue, fam. Like, either or, when you start dealing with the migrations, here's why migrations become a problem for a lot of these people, and why they gotta mix and match migrations, and they gotta jump around and whatnot. Because when you look at all of it in totality, Dunamis, there was a lot of mixing and matching amongst the people. Like, there was no migrations without picking up a few people here and there. And you know what? It made Israel look different every time they mixed and matched. They don't want to admit that concept. It can't. So you look at Ron Dalton's information. He'll literally go through the information and talk about like two people with the same haplogroups, right? He'll talk about the Limba and talk about the Ashkenazi. The Ashkenazi are fake Jews with the J. The Limba are real Jews with the J. And it's like, hold on, how to make this one work? Make this one work, man. It's because they're black Jews with the J. If you're a black Jew with the whatever, you're the real one. But if you're white, nah, it's fake. Like we're talking. Hence, this is the A-Fakening, fam. It's the skin doctrine of faking it, fam. It's and it's pseudo is all get out, fam. And no one can stand on it. Like so, Ron Dalton debated Yeshua at one point on Clubhouse. Yeshua washed him. Ron Dalton don't want no parts of no DNA debate, and he definitely don't want no parts of a history debate. And trust me, like Ron Dalton, if you want to debate on the origin of the so-called Sephardic Jews, fam, I got you. Anytime you want that Scholastic Order guy, because that was just ridiculous. Wait, you got that in a book like with a price tag on it, fam?
I guess you got a source right here too, Dunamis, to the right. What is it, Waltz right there? So here's a few quotes from historians concerning Jews in Spain. And that's specifically to Nature Knows Local. Yeah, it's literally the same sources that they're using.
So more, I understand Clubhouse is easier avenue to communicate, but I don't know. If we want to be taken seriously, why are folks running the Clubhouse and not really setting up things formal, writing blogs? I don't know.
Clubhouse is the worst debate platform. Clubhouse is where you want to go if you want an echo chamber. Clubhouse is the echo chamber debate platform. There is no. It's like Hangouts, but worse. You know what I'm saying? You can't share information, none of that type of stuff. Like so, for instance, like you're sharing a screen right now. You can't share a screen in Clubhouse. That's why people go there, and people go there because they can control the dialogue. They can mute. They can mute people. They can bring people up. They can kick people out of rooms or whatnot. It's controlled. It's a controlled echo chamber. That's all it is.
But how? This is crazy to me though, because like Christianity first 300 years, they're writing books, even talking they're dealing with the pagans. And if you know what I'm saying, people pagans writing stuff. Everyone's writing so you can review. But I don't know. This is
African Jewry and Christianity, period, is a long history of scholastic debate, fam.
Yeah.
A long, thick history of scholastic debate. We're talking about from Trinitarianism to modalism to all kind, you know what I'm saying, to Arianism to all kind. It's a long, thick history of scholastic debate.
To me, this book seems like just a big run-on thought, and he breaks up by chapter to chapter, but there's no.
I'm telling you, it's a certain idea. It's similar to others that are on YouTube that do this often, that make books, and when they make them, it's just thoughts with maybe random books within their collection already that they add to it, and that's it.
So make this make sense for me right quick. So like I keep seeing these quotes here about like the Jews in Spain and this, that, and the third or whatnot, and I keep seeing this like this cognitive. So historically, before the Moors go into Spain, you have Roman Christians there oppressing the hell out of Jews, of which you get the Moors coming in Spain and whatnot, right? Help like alleviating the situation and whatnot, right? And so again, on one hand, my man's saying like that the Sephardic Jew is like Assyrian, etc., etc., etc. But now they're black, right? And they're super black in this situation to where like there's all kind of people running through Spain. Like again, before the Moors get there, the Romans are there. You got Gaelic people there, Basque people. You got all kind of people in Spain, right? You got North African people there. You got eventually after the Moors get there, you get people from Arabia, you get people from the Middle East, you get people from all over there, right? But everybody's supposedly supposed to stay black this entire time because they got this magic DNA and whatnot. And I don't understand it. But at the same point in time, these are the fake people. I'm trying to understand like how like y'all got to help me with this chop suey of pseudo information, fam. Like I don't like how do people people can't be taking this stuff serious. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not meant to be taken serious. It's meant just to fan the flames of whatever you think you believe anyway. Like, you're just looking for confirmation bias, so it sounds good for if it's already confirming what you believe or whatnot. It's not.
Bro, these books
it's telling you what to think instead of how to think. I'll just believe like that.
It's a manifesto training manual.
Yeah, bro, these are being referenced as the source. These books, like in the video I showed earlier, or I sent to Dudamus, I was looking at some of his other videos. He has all of his volumes of Hebrews to Negroes, and he referenced these as sources. He has all the volumes in his library, and he referenced these as sources.
Yeah, and then more, it kind of reminds me of like when we talk about the prophecy, all the Jews were kicked out, and then they'll say, okay, then we ask the question, so when did the fake Jews take over? And then now, but there are Jews in the 9th century, the Masoretic Jews, who the King James Version is translated from. And it's like, no one can give well, some folks got answers, but anyway, but very few can give a clear answer about, so who's fake, who's real, something that's plausible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the 9th century is cold too, because you're talking about like so up until like that, you're talking about the Cordoba Caliphate in Spain and whatnot, right? Like the Jews literally have their golden era outside of Jerusalem in Moorish Spain, right? And so you're asking a great question, and it's like, when did the fake people take over? When were the real people? Like, and it's you're never gonna get a clear answer to that question, fam. You're just gonna get it. Just happened.
Yeah,
it just happened.
It's like a roller coaster ride with the highlights for Jews. Then those are real ones. When it's a low point or something else. When it's Talmud, Talmud's never written by anyone. Man,
fact. Yeah, and this is why it's the A-Fakening, fam. It's the tell me good news and stuff, right? Like, don't tell me that racism is idolatry or whatnot. Tell me that God is a racist. That's what I want to hear. Tell me that God chose us to be special and hated the other group of people, and that they're made to be our slaves and our servants and whatnot. And that's all we got to worry about. We don't got to get right for nothing. All we got to do is be black.
They'll say they still got to adhere to the law. You know they're gonna pull that in somehow.
Right. Right.
A version of the law, because you can't.
Correct.
Right. So which one of these people is breaking down that doctrine?
Few and far in between.
I can go to Dante's channel. I'm gonna say names. I can go to Teo's channel. I'm gonna say names. I go to Sister E's channel. I'm gonna say names. I can go to We Woke Now. I'm gonna say names. I don't hear that broken down nowhere.
I say the closest may be Divine Prospect, the closest to where he'll actually answer questions on the law and how to adhere to it.
I'm not gonna bring Divine into this conversation because Divine will source side.
Oh, for sure.
Divine will give me a 5-hour presentation source.
For sure.
You understand?
For sure.
And Divine putting work too with his network he got set up. I ain't gonna. Man.
So here's what I'm not gonna put Divine in the conversation, right? Like, I have no issue. I could bring Divine Prospect to a professorial conversation, to a collegiate debate, to whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And the information would stack up.
Right.
He's not going to speak past his information. You know what I'm saying? That's what I appreciate about Divine. He's not going to speak past his information. Meaning he's not going to make claims the information does not make. Right?
No, yeah, not just that. I'm saying with Divine, he's actually doing not just religious work and a channel, but he's putting in practical work to where unifying folks. He got his whole network of different things going on where he's trying to build something substantial, tangible. Community. And it's hard to see that sometimes. Folks leave the church to them and they become the church that they left. All they do is have religious services, but when it comes to like real work, you're not seeing it. Like Ron Dalton got a whole chapter on prisons and like prison pipeline, and it's like, so what's the solution? Can we like laws? Do we come together? Do we protest? who do we write to? And it's from what I've seen, I'm not seeing nothing but just get angry about it.
And follow me and drop $1 when you got it, man.
Buy the book.
But yeah, Slim, did you want to say something? I saw you unmuted.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, I kind of agree with you guys when you say that. Like, to me, it just looks like a big training manual on how to enter into racial idolatry, basically. You know, so I just think that these guys, they've identified with God through the lens of race, and they're taking scriptures and using specific parts of the Bible to support the concept. You know, it's sad, but that's just the reality, you know, and just like y'all been saying all night long, all these other different groups of people have done similar things in the past with British Israelism and all these other movements that have gone on in the past. And I just think this generation has found another way to kind of just flip the scripture out. And that's what it sounds like and looks like to me, you know.
Yeah.
I will say this: I got to track down the Divine Prospect in this new year and ask and see if I can get an interview with him and get his take on a few things. Because I would like to. So, for instance, like a lot of people know he doesn't support like the 40-year prophecy, whatnot. I would like to get his take on certain things. I'd like to get his take on genetics. I'd like to get his take on can Europeans are Europeans excluded from the nation of Israel, etc., whatnot, via the tribe of descent, etc., and conversion and whatnot. I'd like to get his take on a long but very good presentation he did years ago about Edomites and Romans and whatnot. Because I think the cooler heads need to prevail in these conversations, and there's been a lot of talking heads that just like been a lot of talk real loud, and like the loudest voice in the rooms have not been the most intelligent as of late, and that's something as a community we should probably do better and try to get the more intelligent heads to the forefront of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, fam, it's not like this is how America is, like America's being portrayed to the world this way. Like I'm talking to people from the UK, people from Africa, people from Asia, when I'm like, man, y'all Americans are tripping. Like, yo, this ain't everybody, fam. This ain't everybody. But this is the picture getting sent out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do my part to try to send out a more intelligent picture in this upcoming year, because yo, this is not a good look.
So if you would have a top 5, I don't, because there's so many different topics, but or top 10, because we've been talking about a council, but we're not Israelites. It would just be easier to kind of have a council. What's the general belief? Like any organization, any people, these are the top things we want. Who being in the top 10 to come together and kind of have something reasonable that has tangibles or can come to a conclusion.
Come together for what? Just help me understand right quick.
So I guess let's just say doctrine, general doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll do both doctrine and like a community plan, 5-year plan to where we can progress ourselves with the issues of our community.
For me, the community plan is to figure out how to move forward where you disagree on doctrine, right?
Good point.
I'm with you.
So in that vein, like the people I talk to in terms of that type of stuff, I talk to people like Zadok, I talk to people like Mr. Blacktastic, I talk to people like Sister Ashanti and whatnot. I talk to like the App Gang and whatnot. I talk to people like Anonymous Hebrew, etc. I would love to sit down and talk to Divine Prospect about a lot of stuff, because I would like to see where he sits on a lot of things, because I like a lot of what he does and whatnot. And I think a lot of people use his information to weaponize it for certain stuff, and I want to see how he feels about that and whatnot. I would definitely put Ron on that list in terms of people who need to be involved in the conversation, because he's super intelligent with it and knows how to have that dialogue with it, right? But in terms of like, so first and foremost, I'm a big proponent of understanding like the Israelite diaspora and the Jewish diaspora is mad diverse and whatnot, right? And so, and all the people that I just mentioned, we all have different belief systems and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We have similarities, and we have things that we disagree on and whatnot, right? And so, in terms of like you want to understand doctrine, I'm going to say like you deal with that one in terms of like how you deal with someone's like independent lineage. Like it's going to be a case by case basis and whatnot, right? As like if I'm going to talk to a Christian or whatnot, like it's going to be a case by case basis with them and whatnot, right? I'm going to run into all kind of Christians and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I will say this: there is no Israelite leader. There is no one community, and there is no one leader to that community, whatnot, and it needs to be understood as such. But I will say this though: the people who don't want to be misrepresented need to step up and start speaking louder. Because if we don't start speaking up louder, we're going to be misrepresented by the nonsense. If I didn't answer your question, let me know. I'll try to answer it better.
No. That answered my question. Because I'm thinking, like, because you said something. I think, yeah, because sometimes we think too small. Yes, it's here in the state, but like I've been seeing different groups that Jewry worldwide. You know, European Jews will not trying to see what to do with folks here in the States. So I think maybe a better question would be if there was a council to come together to how to integrate into the Jewish diaspora, who would be that council kind of representatives, that council of leadership? You know what I'm saying?
To integrate into the Jewish diaspora.
Yeah. So where you're represented, you have access, and you're recognized. I think that's a better question.
So you're asking the $1 million question, right? So you're either somebody who wants to enter into the Jewish diaspora, or you're somebody who does not. Most of the people we're talking about do not want to enter that diaspora. They think it is the devil. You know what I'm saying? For people like me and mine, we have no issue running to the diaspora and connecting to it. And for me, real quick, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you got it.
No, because to me, even like the Holocaust Museum, I would even want to say, like, I want a slavery section in the Holocaust Museum.
Bruh, that's exactly, and I don't disagree with that concept, right? For me, I'm about looking at the diaspora in and of itself and trying to connect the different pockets of understanding who the diaspora is and understanding what their culture is, right? In terms of connecting the diaspora to world Jewry, that gets super political in the sense to where, are you trying to be Israeli? Are you trying to be your own? Are you just trying to be your own group that has your practice recognized, and you're not trying to change those things, etc.? It becomes a long conversation from there with that, right? But for me, I say go to the different tribal groups, check out their practices and whatnot. Look at yourself, look at your own history, right? Try to recognize your practices and whatnot, your own history, and whatnot, right? Because when you talk to world Jewry, that's what they want to know. What are your practices? What did you keep going? Where did you come from? What were your migration patterns, etc., whatnot, right? So for me and mine and whatnot, like, and the same thing for like what Ron Divine Prospect is like, it's all about assembling your cultural cohesion. Like, what cultural stuff were you able to hold on to, right? Because at the end of the day, to a Jew, that's what being a Jew is. It's like holding on to your culture. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I like to say all day, like, in this country, we have descendants of a Holocaust, a slave trade, and an Inquisition, all claiming to be from Israel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big, for me, I think, like, them kind of conversations about bringing all them together is a big deal and whatnot, right? However, like, the slave trade side of it, like, I can tell you from personal experience, like when talking to world Jewry and whatnot, right? There's a hot and cold aspect to it. There's a lot of people who don't want to believe that there could be Jews from West Africa. There's a deep history of Jewry in West Africa and whatnot, or that they have their own traditions and whatnot. And then there's other people who are fascinated by the concept, and they want to do nothing more than learn more about it and soak it all up, because for them, that is the Jewish story. Keeping your traditions wherever you're going and whatnot, amidst all odds, etc., 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 whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm gonna say, doing the miss. I'm gonna say, slow the conversation down, as always. Like me, I'm gonna say, slow it down, and B, recognize how intricate it is. Again, a Limba Jew might not believe the same thing as an Igbo Jew, right? Our practices coming to America or whatnot, we need to understand what those were, whatnot. What are we trying to keep going, etc. I hear a lot of people talking about, like, oh, I'm trying to keep the all whatever. Okay, got you, but what's your culture you're trying to keep? That's one reason why I respect Divine Prospect so much. Is you hear him talk about cultural autonomy and whatnot, cultural cohesion, cultural practices and whatnot. You'll see him trying to match West African practices to the Bible, etc. And see where things match up and whatnot. The only way we're going to connect to world Jewry is through understanding our culture, being able to defend the culture in terms of validity and whatnot, and being able to break down the history of said culture, whatnot, to Jewry and whatnot.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I view it like how ADOS, how FBA, whatever, trying to do over here, but like a classification for Jews who did go through or Israelites who did go through the slave trade, some kind of application to where this is our culture, how we can explain it, so that way, like you're saying, other Jews who can, folks, except they're not, but if you can package it to where it's digestible, to where it's like this is part of the history of the whole diaspora.
Yeah, like first and foremost, when I talk to Jews, I come in and I say that I'm Anusim. I don't tell them I'm Jewish right off rip, right? Because to a Jewish person, like when you tell them you're Jewish, that means like 9 times out of 10, like they're when you say I'm Jewish, they think that you're a practicing like Old Testament Jew, etc., whatnot, Orthodox, etc., whatnot. I'm saying no. I'm saying I descend from Jews of West Africa, right, or North and West Africa, etc., that were forced to convert to other things. Like, so when you read like the Obadiah Alliance concept on the ruling on the Igbo Jews, they don't say that the Igbos are Jews. They say the Igbos are Anusim. Right, that they descend from Jews that were forced to convert to other things and whatnot, and should be respected as brethren and whatnot. Right? And so that's the first step is to recognize, like, okay, who am I coming from? What's the history with the belief system, etc.
Yeah, and with that, let me be honest. To me, the Obadiah Alliance is dangerous because it's like how do I say? It's like you're recognizing a broad spread, but that people, the Igbos, I don't know how much how much congruency they have over there. But for a lot of folks here that are tapping into it, it's like, yeah, but y'all are still there's still a lot of individualism. So now you have folks who are going to come in who are poachers and try to either have you convert to Judaism or their sect of Judaism, or use you as a tool. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think people understand. Well, I don't think everyone. There are those that do understand, but for the masses, that geopolitical game that's going on with it is more than just a title. There are things that are tied to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that's what I was saying. It's like when you're talking about like entering world Jewry, that's a whole political conversation, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, so for instance, like, so for me, like, I have absolutely no interest in partaking in the modern Israeli state. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I got people who want nothing. I got people that I love and respect who want nothing more than to go over to Israel or whatnot, right? And go to school over there, get citizenship, all that type of stuff, right? However, right, the question becomes, how do we move forward if we depending with our belief system? And that's why I was talking about, like, in terms of the communal level, the conversation should be like, well, how do we move forward on the things that we in the areas where we disagree, like you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we respectfully do such and whatnot? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. At least,
but I'll say this though: people shouldn't jump to it, like, because of how political it is or whatnot, and how, like, there's a lot of nuance in these arguments that I feel like a lot of people don't really listen to. Like, so for instance, like I said, I'm not one who wants to participate in the modern Israeli state, right? But I'm not hating on people who do, because I understand the nuance and a lot of stuff that they're talking about, right? Not everybody's trying to support like the growth of the modern Israeli state or the secularism thereof, etc. whatnot. They're trying to do other things with it. I can love and respect that stuff, but I can't do so unless I'm slowing down enough to hear their nuance and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to have understand. Nuance is the word that we all need to be like pushing hardcore going forward and whatnot, because that's the word that's not getting understood in all these conversations. We're looking over the nuance of everybody's argument and acting like people are evil because they don't agree with us or whatnot. Like, nah, fam, we're like, we might see things a different way for a specific reason or whatnot. It might be worth it to you to understand, to take the time to understand why.
Yeah. And then too, especially when you get on that kind of level, like one thing you can see if you do business, so there you have to have principles, but at the same time, are you not going to do business with these people? You can make money with them. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna. And to me, that never makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I will work with anybody else who I can work with or who wants to work with me, and we can build something. Or I can take for myself, like the brother Don King. Don King worked for years with them Jews, even though he didn't really like them. He built something for himself and he moved forward. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't even have that building stage because they want to be independent, do everything themselves, and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it also depends on what you want to build, right? Like, I'm not trying to work with anybody to build anything, right? Like, I'm trying to, like, it depends on what you want to build and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, like I've said a bunch of, I refuse to work with racists and whatnot. Just I'm not going to do it. I can't build something righteous doing that, right?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
That comes in any color, right? Like, so any color. You can listen to Yap, like getting it in on Clubhouse with European Jews, BHI, everybody in between. You know what I'm saying? And it's equal opportunity. Anybody can get it, right? I'm trying to work with righteous people to build righteous things. You know what I'm saying? That's all I really worry about. So you can be. There is no haplogroup for righteousness. You can be any color and be righteous. I'm gonna hurt a lot of people here. You can be of a bunch of different creeds and still be righteous and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I got no issue working with a righteous Catholic brother. I got no issue working with a righteous Orthodox Jewish brother.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's something. Yeah, it's levels to everything in life. Not everything's just black and white or plain as it seems. Because that you got folks like right now. Right now, there's a lot of Muslims who control the where I come from. A lot of Muslims control the auto scene. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So if I want to learn how to buy cars, have connections, they're Muslim, I can't work. Why not? Are they trying to? You know what I'm saying? They know the scene. They have to understand the business. Work with them. Learn from them.
See, and that's okay. And that's where we have to have this next year, I'm going to devote myself to talking about a lot about real history about where we come from in West Africa, right? Because where we come from in West Africa, fam, like they're like, you're going to see historically Christians amongst and Jews and Muslims and tribal people all amongst each other in one cultural setting. You know what I'm saying? Just like in Spain, in Moor, Spain and whatnot, right? You had all them different groups of people living in the same stratas and whatnot, fam, working amongst each other. Like, we can't be beefing. Like, oh my God, you're a Christian. I say I'm a Muslim. I say I'm an Israelite. We can't work that. No, fam. Like we're literally disrespecting the books we say we pay homage to and not. Literally disrespecting them books, fam.
Yeah, because a lot of my dad told me it was like Jewish guy, Christian guy, and a Muslim guy all had a business and it worked out for them. On Fridays for Salat, the Muslim guy didn't work. The Christian and Jewish guy worked. On Shabbat, the Jewish guy didn't work. Christian and Muslim guy. Sundays, the Christian guy didn't work. Muslim and Jewish guy. So they all had bound to watch each other, and they all had time to go to their prayer.
Fam, like, so the Maghrebi Jews in North and West Africa literally have a celebration they do every year. It's not a biblical one, but it's one that they do. Called the Mimona, which they do for their Muslim brethren and whatnot, right? And so they'll make all the food that they can eat and they bring them through, like, hey, just stuff your face and just have your fill, because when on Shabbats you watch our backs and we can't do certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they recognize just what you just said. Like, so like on Fridays, like that's like the Islamic day, whatever, a prayer, etc. Right? Shabbat comes in, the Muslims will look out for the Jews and what they can't do for themselves and whatnot, certain spots. And so it becomes this cultural thing where like it's that they work off each other. And like, you know what? We're not tripping because like we're saying we're praying to the same God or whatnot, right? And we're just handling it a little bit different and whatnot. Like that bit of we're like, you know what? Like if we agree on 70% of stuff and we're beefing on 30%, but we spend 100% of time talking about the 30% of beef, we are tripping. We're like, we are missing the point. We are missing the point. We should be moving forward on the 70% we agree on, right? And being able to figure out how to peacefully go forward on the 30% we disagree on.
Yeah, but that see now. Let me clear because the Christian thumpers watching. This is me talking about. This is what nation building looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for the not that I'm I know folks, not that I'm changing my views or this and that, but but there's levels to life. On a secular level, if Moore's my neighbor, he's looking out for me. I know this is going on. He knows what's going on when I come and going. That's just how it goes. That's how you just be someone's neighbor. You know what I'm saying? But we can have the debates and disputes, but if we can't come together as people, then what do we, you know what I'm saying, what's really going on? I don't know. That's because we miss out so much on the world if we try to stay in our own silos.
Facts. And so you said something about nation building, right? And that's a conversation that I think needs to really be had in this whole thing, right? Because I think that's where a lot of the A-Fakening gets some air to breathe that they shouldn't get to breathe, because they pretend like they're the nationalists in this whole thing and whatnot, right? Because a lot of the Christian church like does not talk up nationalism in a positive way. They see it as a negative thing, right? And to some cases it can be whatnot, right? However, when it comes to the so-called Black community and whatnot, like nation building is a necessary conversation to have and whatnot, right? And it can't be separate from their belief system in that sense, right? And so we've got to make nation building a positive conversation and like a conversation on the table, because not having it on the table makes the only people that are talking about it are like the BHI type crowd and whatnot, right? You know what I'm saying? Or I keep talking about like the BHI right now is like it's like the second coming of like the NOI, right? I call them like the Nation of Israelites now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just like the splinters, I'm the leader.
Yeah, bruh, exactly. The whole nine, bruh, the whole nine. Yeah, all that.
People got the same doctrine, but where's your doctrine come from? Oh, ours is original. Oh, really? So how come they got the same thing? Well, no, y'all same branch.
Right, and it's based off of racism and self-idolatry to self and whatnot, right? And again, like so nationalism isn't a bad thing, and it's a necessary conversation and whatnot, right? However, when it's only being had by racist people, you're only going to hear a racist form of nationalism and whatnot, right? I was talking to people like Cherry Love and Vocab and Faithful to God about a righteous form of nationalism. You know what I'm saying? That's in the Bible and whatnot. About taking care of your nation and taking care of other nations as well and whatnot, right? I was trying to break down the fact, like even with like the cities of refuge, with the Israelites or whatnot. 2 of the cities of refuge had to be in foreign land or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they had like it wasn't just we just take care of our own and look out for ourselves. No, yeah. There's ways to look at nationalism that's righteous. There's ways to look at it that's not righteous. Putting it all in the same bag is detrimental. And I think this is one of the reasons why Christians don't recognize that they're losing numbers to the BHI movement, right? Because if I go to a regular Christian church, I'm not claiming to be an Israelite, whatever. When I speak a little too much about nationalism, I'm gonna get looked at funny, right? Check this out. If I go to a mosque and say the same thing, same issue, right? If I go to a synagogue, no issue. Someone's got to help me make sense of that. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like Jews understand the nationalism concept because like it's a nationalism thing for them, right? But like they're not being nationalism in Christianity or forms of Christianity or let me say like nationalism being frowned upon in certain forms of Christianity is something we definitely got to look at, because I'm gonna say it one more time. not all forms of nationalism are negative. Like if I'm talking ethno-nationalism, which is what this stuff is here, 100%, bro. That's wrong as 2 left feet.
But I think sometimes with Muslims, there's always that tribal, well, for lack of a better term, tribal national effect to where, although everyone's here in the States, I remember back when I come from, like the more so the sub-Saharan Africans, those Muslim Somali, your Senegalese, other folks, they would go to one mosque, but then all the Pakistani, they'll have their own mosques kind of set apart. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like sometimes some folks, to not go back to the old beefs or the old countries, they don't want to talk about those things because what it stirs up. And they can't get past a nation, like a new nation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if so, something I find is like, so if you try to deal with your own nation in terms of nationalism, or like you talk about, if like so Somali, I got a lot of Somali family and whatnot, right? And talked to a lot of Somali heads from the UK and from Somalia and whatnot, and they catch a lot of heat from a lot of different Muslims and whatnot, because they're trying to build up Somalia right now. They're interested in trying to fix Somalia as a nation, etc. Whatnot. The Muslims are telling them like, no, nationalism is a sin. Nationalism is evil or whatnot. They get jumped on like that. If you get a bunch of African American or whatnot people in the mosque talking the same thing, they get shot down with the same thing or whatnot. But at the same point in time, there's almost like this Arabism that's forced on you that you have to imitate an Arab culture or whatnot, right? And that's the thing that I want to address within the Christian and Israelite side of this whole thing, right? So a lot of the BHI people are saying like, well, yeah, like if you're in Christianity, you're being forced to live this westernized form of things or whatnot, right? I don't necessarily think that's true or whatnot. And I don't think that's true if you look at the cultural history of our people in this country, right? And I don't think it's right to throw the baby out with the bathwater in the way that it's being done. And that's why I think we need to slow this conversation down, because like you can't talk about nationalism and African Americans without mentioning the church in this country. Like it's like, I don't know how you have that conversation realistically, right? But at the same point in time, like when it comes, like there was a point in time when the church was like socially involved, and now it's not. It's like been diffused or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the same social connection to the church that we used to in this country. At least in terms of our community, whatnot. People come of African descent, etc.
Yeah. Hey, Sim, you were saying something?
No, that's exactly what I was going to ask him. Is like, do you feel like the church, the Christian community, should be more socially in tune, like they were in the 60s and, and during the civil rights movement and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Because like, when you speak about nationalism or nation building and stuff, isn't that what like my man Farrakhan and those guys were doing? Wasn't the Black Panthers doing? Like there was a lot of Black national groups in the 60s and 70s, right? And all of them had different, I guess, ideologies behind what they were doing, different reasons behind it. Some of them were attached to faith. Some of them were just attached to politics. Some of them were attached to just their own ideologies, And so, like, how would that work in Christianity if we're already considered? Well, do you agree that Christianity is universal, or is it supposed to just be, is it supposed to be something that we identify ourselves, like how the Israelites identify themselves nationally? Are we supposed to have like a national status?
So the religion between both is universal, right? The gospel is universal 100%. The Torah is universal 100%. I personally do believe, though, the church should probably look a little bit more nationalistic than it does, right? Because it was more like, so when you look at the New Testament situation, it was more of a community situation, right? it doesn't look to me that I'll say this. Okay, if I go back past the 60s and whatnot, right? If I go back to what we were practicing coming off the slave ships and what I can find in like, let's say I call it low country Christianity, which you find in like amongst the Gullah Geechee Christianity, whatnot, from the Carolinas to Georgia, all the kind of stuff, whatnot, right?
Yeah.
You can find a Christian culture that looks almost exactly like what you see in the New Testament, whatnot, right? If I got something and you need it, I'm giving it to you. They're the something I like talking about concerning like the First African Baptist Church and whatnot is when Anonymous went down there a couple of times, he went down there twice and told me, he's like, yeah, there's a part in this tour where they tell you about like how they changed the crosses that they used to use. That they used to have this Ethiopic cross at one point, and then they switched over to this more modern Westernized cross and whatnot, right? Which was amazing to me when I heard that. And when you look at the traditions that they have, the traditions changed too. Like, so they used to have traditions to where like they would have they would call them crop suppers or whatnot, right? To where they would literally have a first harvest feast, right? They would bring all the food, they would like the people would bring all their stuff down to the church or whatnot and divide the food amongst the people or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That was a cultural tradition that was going on for forever, whatnot, right? That's not stuff that we really do as the church anymore, like that. Like have cultural traditions that we keep year in, year out, like that. In terms of like we're like taking care of the people is our nationalism. Like I don't care if you're a Jew or a Christian. Like if you look at the book, taking care of the people is your nationalism. You take care of the poor, like to let people know God is amongst you. You know what I'm saying? And so I would love to see, like, so right now we're seeing Christian nationalism in terms of like some white supremacy kind of stuff, right? Like, no, move that to the side. I would love to see proper Christian nationalism in the sense to where like this is what our communities are supposed to look like as a nation if we live by this book or whatnot, right? I would love to see like it's dope. Like you got people arguing over Christmas and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool. You can argue over Christmas and whatnot, but like those first crop suppers were based off of stuff that was in the Bible and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It would be dope to see cultural aspects of the Bible coming out in the church, right? The church it seems to be. This is just me putting my 2 cents on it, and I'm not shooting at the church, right? When I'm talking about nationalism, I'm seeing a lack of culture in the church, right? Like the default culture in the church is just whatever society you're in. You know what I'm saying? And to me, the default culture of the church is supposed to be the scriptures that they're bringing to the societies that they're in. That's my 2 cents.
Not so simple. What I would say is, so when I was going to the church I went to, the pastor, he had land, and what he would do, he'll like hire the young boys of the church to go there and like do odd jobs at his house and his property, that kind of stuff, right? We had a teen challenge nearby. I don't know if you know what teen challenge is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Slim.
No, say that again. I don't know what is
teen challenge.
No.
Teen challenge is like a halfway house, like a recovery place for drug addicts.
Oh.
So he'll also do the same thing. He'll hire them there, that kind of stuff. So he was really he was in tune to the community to the extent of like he would have work going on, right? Different kind of odd jobs, moving here and there. For the church, he had the church buy property next to the church. So they bought a house, another house. There was a property somebody had bought and turned into like duplexes, but they had to foreclose the loan. He bought that property. So he's being industrious. So that's that kind of nationalism I like to see. Like you don't need 100 people. If you have 3 people, 2 or 3, and y'all just have an idea where y'all want to go to and find some kind of business, some kind of endeavor, and like build like that.
Yeah, I'm with that, right? But like, so here's where I think a lot of like BHI make their bread and butter and whatnot, right? Is like, so what you're talking about is industrious, right? A lot of times when we go into like the atypical so-called black church in America, right? No matter where you're going, right? You're seeing a lot of people routinely dumping money into a situation that's not feeding the or not building up the community that they're in or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And it's just this you're expected to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and that's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? But the question is, how did that happen? Because that wasn't always the case and whatnot, right? And so a lot of BHI like to act like that's how it always was. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily the case and whatnot. So it like that's what I'm saying. Like we need to have like a legit historical conversation about what was going on in this country, not just jump from 1865 to 1960. Whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a big jump. Right
that's a big jump,
and a lot. That's like 3 or 4 wars. Yeah.
My G.
And that yeah, to your point more, because so that's more so because not all ministers are the same like that, but there's some people. Right. If you have to me, that's how I want to be, right? In a way, strong boss and community. I got bread. I got things going on, and I got different levels to where I know, like, Burr's not an accountant. Burr's not a programmer, but he can move stuff. So I'll work with you. You know what I'm saying? Having different avenues. Basically business on in different ways to where I can incorporate people in different levels to what's going on. But the biggest thing is being able to pool money with other folks, you know what I'm saying, to make deals. So you got a deal going on, I can contribute. I got a deal coming on, you can contribute. That's what I see as overall nation building. Like the big example I always like to use, it's late night Christians on home like that. I love the mob and the commission. The commission, that's the model. You know, granted, it became more ethno-based with just Italians, but at the beginning, you see Jews, Irish, even black gangsters, Italian gangsters coming together, different territories, and they're doing deals with one another. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Like that stuff is nationalism like 101. Like literally, like if I want to break down nationalism, people talk about gangs and mobs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna go there. But what about the unity? Like, what is it gonna take to hold? Because something like that is gonna require a high level of unity, right? And that just seems like a fantasy land, though. When we think about today and how everybody wants to be like the chief and nobody wants to be the Indian. So how are people gonna accept leadership? You know, because we got that problem not only in the church, but in the streets. We got that problem in politics. We got that problem in every facet of our society where people will start out with the rah, let's unify and come together. And then, you know, how long does it actually last before people start the envy, the jealousy, and all that stuff kicks in, whether it's business, politics, religion? You see what I'm saying? It just seems like these groups start out with a good intention, you know, even including Christians. And then now you got all these different splinter groups that split out because somebody got mad or somebody got jealous or somebody got envious.
So to me, the pie in the sky fantasy is expecting everyone to get along, right?
Right.
We're not one people. We are literally a diverse group. So like that's the thing. Like we're literally a bunch of different people from different parts of Africa that got mixed up and came here. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not the same people. We're different people that went through the same experience, right?
Right.
And like if we start with that conversation right there, bro, like it's a lot of diffusion right there. Because at the end of the day, we are a bunch of different chiefs from different peoples, a bunch of different tribes, and all kind of stuff and whatnot, right? And we need to recognize that. That's why, like, the most important thing is recognizing, like, not on what do we agree, like, how do we move forward when we disagree on stuff, right? Because, again, we're not all going to agree. We're not all going to be. It's not going to be one big kumbaya movement to where we're all moving forward together. And you don't see that in other social structures and whatnot, right? You don't see all Italians kumbaya. You don't see all Irish people kumbaya. You don't see all British. Like, no, that's not how it works, man. That's right. But they beef in an organized way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But like you were saying though, you were saying you would like to see the church get more involved. So the church is not an ethnicity though. When you're talking about faith, like how do you unite the people in the faith? Because there's people within the faith that are beefing and warring against each other.
But then you gotta realize though, and this gonna get it is a little Machiavellian, that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's not about unifying everyone. sometimes you got to segment what you're trying to do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need, like, you know, like how people vote. I don't necessarily need, I'm not trying to unify individuals. I'm trying to get common interests. You know what I'm saying? So we all
like-minded.
Yeah. So that way it's easy to flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you try to unify individuals, it's like a level of charisma that's needed, a level of this and that. And then sometimes it's unifying the leaders. Go to the, you know what I'm saying, who's the real boss?
Yeah.
And have the real bosses come together. I'm not trying to say passes on the bosses, but just for lack of a better term, to have the bosses come together. And you have your house in order. You know what I'm saying? I got my house in order. I know what's the standard we're going for, and then we move like that. I don't know more yes on that to that. Or something.
So say your question one more time, Berean. I don't want to misunderstand it.
No, I just wanted I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding. Like when you first said, I thought I heard you say that you in your opinion you think that the church should be more involved on like a social level, right? And that your idea of nation building would be something that you would not shy away from as far as having and starting that conversation. So I had asked you, I said, you know, how do you unify if we do it, like if something like that happened with the church, how do you unite the churches who are beefing and warring and splintering off of each other, right? How do you unite the people in the faith to be able to come together and pull something like that off?
Lowest common denominator, right? Like, so first and foremost, not everyone's going to unite. Not going to happen, right? But I'm going to, depending on who I'm talking to, I'm going to ask different things, right? Like, so if I'm talking to let's say I'm having a conversation with Elder Mike and I'm having a conversation with Alton, I'm having a conversation with other people. I might be going to a different community, whatnot, right? I might be keeping it real small. I might not go talk to Elder Mike about the same thing I'll go talk to James White about. You know what I'm saying? I might not go to James White talking about, hey, let's go do like an inner city thing in Detroit somewhere, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I might go holler at Elder Mike for that one, right? What I might go talk to James White about is something more general, right? Like linking different churches together just to make sure that the poor people in their areas can get what they need or something, right? Like something more general, right? But again, at the outset, just recognize that not everybody's going to agree or get along and whatnot. People beef for unrighteous reasons and whatnot, right? And so the question is like, is really just challenging these people, like, hey, check this out, man. Like, why are you letting your beef get in the way of the gospel, fam?
Yeah.
Because right now, like Christianity or Abrahamic traditions are taking an L cold right now. Like they're taking a real cold L because like the whole world, like I can talk to a bunch of atheists right now in Clubhouse and they're going to tell me the same thing. I see Christians, Muslims, and Jews just debating each other all day, and then they're supposed to believe in the same God, and none of this makes sense. And yeah, fam. Like we're like people who say they believe in the book are missing the point right now, fam. And so I'm not going to waste my time arguing with people. Like I'll present a good idea to somebody, right? Like if they want to work with me, cool. If they don't, if they want to spend the time bickering, cool. Like so, for instance, I went to Vocab Malone at one point, right? We had a conversation about Islam or whatnot. I wanted to work with him to try to decrease Islamic extremism in America, and whatnot, right? And at the end of the day, he was like, "No, I can't do it with you." I was like, "Why not?" He's like, "I don't think you have the right Jesus." I was like, "Cool." Enough said. Never got to have the conversation. I'm not going to go to him to try to make that problem, to fix that problem, right? Because it's not viable, right? I'm going to go to people I can work with and whatnot. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life trying to make Vocab agree with me or try to. No, fam, he's at where he's at, and there's no point in me wasting energy on it. There's more point. It makes more sense for me to go to people who are willing to work with the concept.
Yeah. Just people looking for the same thing, sort of, or at least being willing to get on board with the idea.
Yeah, but here's what I can do with Vocab, right? I can have a conversation about Islamic extremism, right? So I know I can get that done with them, right? I might not be able to do more than that, but I can get that part done. So instead of worrying about what I can't get done, I'll worry about what I can get done, right? And that's whoever I'm talking to. Not expect the same. Like when it comes to this kind of thing, people have like one expectation for everybody, and that's not fair. You don't do that to your family. You don't do that to your friends. You don't do that to your children and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't do that to each other. Like I can't. It would be wrong for me to fully expect someone like a James White or a Vocab to care about as much as what's going down the street from me as someone like, or care about what's happening in Detroit as much as someone like Elder Mike would, right? It would be ridiculous for me to expect that, right? I like if I see Vocab Malone more concerned about what's going on in Arizona where he's at, right? That makes sense to me, right? If I see him addressing people in his church communities or whatnot, that makes sense to me, right? I'm not like, if he's not trying to go in other places, I'm not trying to force him to go to other places. It doesn't make sense, right? At the same point in time, I shouldn't be expected to minimize the need of my communities either, right?
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there on that one. Did I answer your question or no, bro?
Yeah, I got a little better understanding of what you were saying. I just didn't want to take it the wrong way. I just wanted to make sure I understood exactly what you were trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's all. Because as soon as you said, I think the church needs to be a little bit more nationalist. You know, the first thing that came to my mind was like Louis Farrakhan. You know what I mean, or Elijah Muhammad, and then that's why I just try to get a little bit more detail on what you were thinking. You know?
Yeah, and that's why we need to have that conversation about nationalism, because like if the first thing you think of it when you hear nationalism is Farrakhan, like yeah, like that's how you know we got to have that conversation.
Yeah, because there's so many different. Like, see, like as a child, right? I was down in Atlanta, so you know that whole I grew up as a kid in the 90s, right? So I was born in the 80s, but I was really young in the 90s.
Right.
And that whole movement with Khalid Abdul Muhammad and
right
and guys like that, they were all up in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So
facts.
So I just remember as a kid, you know, I never was involved in it, but a lot of people in the family, a lot of neighbors that I had, you know, they were really going into that direction. They were coming out of the churches and going into that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of like older cousins and uncles and stuff like that was in the streets. A lot of them come out of jail and they would end up, you know, going into the movement. You know what I'm saying? And it was all about just rebuilding the man and stuff like that. But that it's just the experience that I had. It's the closest thing to a nationalism experience that I've had. So when I heard the word, I could only reach back to that as the only experience. So that's why my first thought went there.
And so to that end, like a lot of what they would talk about is infrastructure and whatnot, right? And so for me, when I hear nationalism, I think about national infrastructure or social infrastructure and whatnot. And when I think about like modern Christianity in like America, I don't. Let me compare it to like Mormonism and whatnot, right? I used to be married to somebody who came from a Mormon family and whatnot, and I was tripped out when I went to Utah, and I saw the level of how much it's intertwined in their social structure there, like from the government to everything and whatnot, right? But it was dope because like they got their own colleges that they send their kids to, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole like I could live a full Mormon life if I wanted to, right? And never have to participate in any kind of secular world if I don't want to, right? That's what I kind of mean.
Credit unions and everything.
What was that?
They got their own credit unions and all kinds of things.
Fam, do you feel me? When was the last time you went to a credit union that your church is associated with?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Is that kind of a thing there, right? Like so, like so. For instance, right? Like if I had a choice to send like my child to like a Christian university or UC Berkeley or something like that, right? Fam, I'm like, if I got one choice, I'm choosing the Christian, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. I kind of like BYU. BYU belongs to like the Mormon, you know, the Mormon religious group, basically, and then you just funnel all of the you know, because they're already in the lifestyle of the faith. So everything that's associated with life, they're going to try to funnel it through the faith, business, credit, you know what I mean, education. So I understand what you're saying. I get it. I get it now, you know, as far as like the idea of it. So it's not nothing that I feel would be wrong. It's just I think that within Christianity, because it's such a much more broader, like Mormonism is very specific, right? It's very like you're not going to get multiple different denominations of Mormonism. You know what I mean? You're not going to get multiple denominations of like Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever you want to call it, right? It's just within the faith of Christianity. It's like, wow, you know what I mean? To pull something off like that would be amazing if we could do it. I just, you know, I don't want to be like a doubter, but I just be like, man, there's so many things would have to go our way within the community. You know what I mean? To pull it off on a mass level, maybe on an individual, like you were saying, like a community, an individual community level. You know what I mean? That would be awesome if we could just get that much done. You know what I'm saying?
Just make it's going to turn, it would have to be like a community of communities, bro. Like you just add them up or whatnot. Like it's not going to be like, it's not going to be like one universal Christian movement or like a Muslim movement or Israelite movement. Anything. No. But like, if anything, I'm talking more so of people just repping their set, like people just repping the culture that they see. Like, so for instance, like, I see like the UA as like a nationalistic group in a sense, right? So like they want to further their Christian culture, right? They want to preserve their Christian culture the way they see it, and anything outside of that is they're trying to go deal with it, right? I would really like to see the like different Christian, like, so again, I'm like the Baptists are going to be Baptists, the Catholics are going to be Catholics, the Presbyterians are going to be Presbyterians, you know what I'm saying? The Pentecostals are going to be Pentecostals, you know what I'm saying? That ain't going to change in no time soon. I'm just saying, just rep your people, fam. Like just take care of your peoples, whichever ones they are. Just take care of your people, you know what I'm saying? And take care of those around you, you know what I'm saying? It's that simple. It ain't got to be like all Christians got to be on the same page. It'd be dope if we could all get on the same page, fam. That would be 100% dope. But I would really go ahead.
No, I think Slim's gone.
I'm sitting talking to air. My fault.
No, he might still be listening, but well, I don't know if the phone died or what.
Yeah, but I'm down with like with the like Catholic Christians repping their culture and being nationalistic that way, taking care of the people that way. I'm down with vocab repping his culture that way, right? I'm down with. I would really like to see I would really like to see African American Christians go back and reclaim their Christian culture that they brought to this country, whatnot, right? The Black church used to be forced to be reckoned with and whatnot in a lot of good ways, socially, politically, financially, etc. Education wise, fam. Like so when I think nationalism, the first thing that pops in my head is Booker T. Washington and whatnot, right? The first thing that pops into my head is conversations between like them, W.B. Du Bois, other people and whatnot, to where like it's people talking about building and people actually building and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think of. And I would love to see the Christian church more about a culture like that versus not just the Christian church period. I'm talking about just the apologetics period, right? Like people be more about the culture of the stuff they're talking about versus just hey, let's just argue and try to win arguments or whatnot, right? Because that's crazy right now. Like I'm tripping talking to people. Like when you put it down on paper, okay, you believe in God, I believe in God. Okay, you believe in the Bible, I believe in the Bible. We go down a list and whatnot, right? And let there be one thing we disagree on. Oh, we got to be enemies. So it's like, whoa. We can't feed the poor together now? We can't go clothe the naked no more together now? We can't go take care of people in prison together now? What's going on? That's what I mean.
Yeah, I hear you. That's what's up, man.
All right. No, sorry, fine. All right. I think we wrap it up. It's 2 a.m. All right, Berean, we're going to shut it down.
I think Berean might have fell out. He might be sleeping.
Yeah.
Zay, Micah Black. Some people think that when we rap, we ain't praising, we ain't worshiping. Well, you got it wrong, man. I'm looking to heaven for my help, for real. Oh, come on.
You said that there be no more hunger. You said that there be no more pain. Righteousness reigns forever. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be like. Yeah. You said that there be no more crying, wiping those tears away. No more death and no more lying. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be like.
Everywhere we look, we see wickedness on the planet. The upper class getting richer, the poor are just abandoned. It will remain that way as long as the selfish is standing. Nations fighting wars and wilding out, no lit cannon. Loving your neighbor is something God is still demanding. Everybody's out for self, it's like you have no real companion. Even so-called Christians can be servants of mammon. Our cabinets are full while the homeless get deserted and famine. Nah, this is not how it's supposed to be. Haves and the have-nots, the greedy are selfish openly. It's an abomination, just what the prophet spoke to me. That's why the wife of the Lamb in Revelation we hope to see, which is a description of heaven on earth. You want to enter it, you gotta have a second birth. That's what Jesus told Nicodemus when I read the verse. That's why we evangelize and try our best to spread the church. Lord, remember,
you said that there be no more hunger. You said that there be no more pain. Righteousness reigns forever. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be. Those tears away. No more death and no more lying. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be like.
Yeah. Revelation 21, John is on the mountainside. He saw the heavenly Jerusalem coming from the sky. A magnificent and glorious wonder to the eye. Streets paved with transparent gold. I wanna get inside. 12 pearl gates around the city, 3 on every side. Inscribed on each one is a name from the 12 tribes. Forever in the presence of God with dwell the wise. No whoremongers, idolaters, or those who telling lies. Some of us won't make it and he gave us all chances. The kings of the nations combine, we holding palm branches. No more questions, cause Christ is giving all answers. No more disease, get rid of viruses and all cancers. Man, in this life, I have been a fool. So dirty, I left a ring around that baptism pool. But he cleansed you through the blood. Now I am a different dude. When I knock, I pray he opens. I don't want to get refused.
You said that there be no more hunger. You said that there be no more pain. Righteousness reigns forever. Tell me what's that gonna be like? We wonder what that's gonna be. There be no more crying, wiping those tears away. No more death and no more lying. Tell me what's that gonna